History is written by the victors, but in the autumn of 9 AD, history was swallowed by a forest. 3 of Rome's finest legions, 20,000 battle-hardened men, marched into the green twilight of the Teutoburg and simply vanished. No survivors, no graves, only a silence so profound it would haunt an emperor to his deathbed. Imagine the world's most disciplined killing machine, paralyzed by mud, blinded by rain, and hunted by shadows. How did a single betrayal lead to the total annihilation of the Roman dream in Germania? Tonight, we step into the fog to uncover the bloodiest hour of the ancient world. The Roman Empire in 9 AD was not just a nation, it was an inevitability. Under Augustus, the Mediterranean was a Roman lake, but to the north lay Germania, a land of bogs, wolves, and terrifying, unbowed tribes. Rome didn't want to just defeat them, she wanted to erase their culture. Publius Quintilius Varus was the man chosen to lead this transition. He wasn't a soldier of the frontier, he was a lawyer, a taxman, a bureaucrat. He treated the Germanic tribes not as warriors, but as subjects already conquered. It was a fatal miscalculation, born of supreme Roman arrogance. Varus believed the barbarians were learning to love Roman law. He saw the roads being built, the taxes being collected, and the tribal leaders dining at his table. He felt safe. He felt untouchable. He was wrong. Beside Varus rode his most trusted advisor, Arminius, a German noble by birth, but a Roman citizen by education. He wore the golden ring of a knight. He spoke perfect Latin. He knew the Roman art of war better than the Romans themselves. And in his heart, he was sharpening a blade. Arminius was a ghost in the machine. While he drank wine with Varus, he was secretly uniting the disparate, warring tribes of the Cherusci, Bructeri, and Marsi. He wasn't just planning a battle, he was designing a specialized meat grinder. As the summer of 9 AD waned, Varus prepared to move his 3 legions, the 17th, 18th, and 19th, to their winter quarters. Arminius brought news of a minor uprising in the north. It was a lie, a siren's song designed to lure the heavy Roman column off the main road and into the wilderness. Varus took the bait. He ordered 20,000 soldiers, along with thousands of camp followers, women, and children, to take a shortcut through the dense Teutoburg Forest. The column stretched for 9 miles, a thin, silver snake of steel, vulnerable and blind. The weather turned. A violent autumnal storm transformed the forest floor into a swamp of sucking mud. Roman boots, designed for the hard stone of the Appian Way, slipped and slid. The heavy baggage wagons groaned and sank. The Roman fist was being stretched into a thread. Then the screaming started. It didn't come from the front or the back. It came from everywhere. Out of the impenetrable tree line, thousands of Germanic warriors erupted like a force of nature. They didn't fight in ranks. They struck like lightning and vanished back into the mist. This was not a battle Varus understood. There was no open field. There were no lines to hold. The Romans were fighting a ghost. Every tree hit a spear. Every bush hit a vengeful tribesman. The first day ended not in victory, but in a desperate, mud-caked huddle of terrified men. By the second day, The professional discipline of the legions began to fracture. The rain was so relentless that the Romans' leather shields became waterlogged and too heavy to lift. Their bowstrings went limp, their morale went cold. Arminius was everywhere, directing his tribesmen to target the officers first. He knew that without the centurion's whistles and commands, the Roman machine was just a collection of individuals waiting to die. The trail they left was marked by abandoned gold, shattered wagons, and the growing piles of the dead. On the third day, the remnants of the army reached a narrow pass between a steep hill and a vast, impassable moor. This was Calcris, the killing floor. Arminius had prepared a mile-long earthen wall, hidden by foliage. The Romans were marching into a funnel of death. The massacre at the wall was total. Trapped in a corridor only a few yards wide, the 17th, 18th, and 19th legions were systematically butchered. The eagles, the sacred standards of Rome, were captured and defiled. For a Roman soldier, this was a fate worse than death. It was the end of his soul. Varus, seeing his world collapse and realizing his own monumental stupidity, chose the Roman way out. He fell upon his sword. His senior officers followed suit. Left without leaders, the remaining soldiers were hunted through the woods like animals. The news reached Rome weeks later. It is said that the Emperor Augustus, the most powerful man on earth, wandered his palace in torn clothes, banging his head against the walls, screaming, "Quintilius Varus, give me back my legions!" The numbers 17, 18, and 19 were never used again. They were deleted from the records, a stain that could never be washed away. Rome would eventually send a retaliatory force under Germanicus, but what they found in the forest turned their stomachs. 6 years later, Roman soldiers returned to the site. They found skeletons nailed to trees. They found pits filled with the skulls of executed tribunes. They found the altars where their brothers had been sacrificed to the Germanic gods. They buried the bones, but the trauma remained. The Battle of the Teutoburg Forest changed the map of the world forever. It halted the Roman expansion into Germania. The Rhine became a permanent border, a linguistic and cultural wall that still divides Europe to this day. Because of Arminius, the Germanic identity survived. Today, the Teutoburg Forest is peaceful. The wind rustles through the same oaks that once soaked up the blood of 20,000 men. But the lesson of Varus remains. Arrogance is the greatest enemy of any empire, and the barbarian you despise may be the one who knows your weaknesses best. History is not just a list of dates, it is the echo of these desperate hours. If you want to hear more stories from the edge of the world, stories of lost legions and forgotten heroes, join us here. Subscribe to Echoes of Ages. Hit the bell to ensure you never miss a journey into the past. And tell us in the comments, was Varus a victim of bad luck or the architect of his own demise? I'm your narrator, and this has been the Bloodiest Hour.